Welcome to WP Theme Tutorial episode 18. Today we're going to look at setting options in WordPress plugins. Before we're going to get into that, what I'd like you to do, if you're watching this on the site, is go up to podcast. If you click on podcast, it's going to open up iTunes and you can subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss an episode. So today we're actually going to be looking at cube points, and something I do quite often is extend plugins. So extend cube points. In this case, we have a bunch of settings that I need to actually set for every site. So I need to set them on my laptop on my local host, and that's usually where I figure them out. And then when I push all the changes to the development site for the client to check, we need to make all the same settings. And then when it's approved, we need to push everything to the live site and make all the same settings. Typically what I've done up until the last couple of weeks is I just make a text file list of all the settings and what they should be so the client can also do it later. But that's got a lot of room for error in it, and it's a lot of extra work for me. I've got to go through, figure them out, and make them work the first time in the development environment. So why don't I just actually automate that process for me? So that's what I've started doing. So we're going to flip over to the development site now. And you can see here that I've got a plugin right down at the bottom called WP Theme Tutorial Cube Points Extension. So what we're going to do for cube points is, if we go into the configure options, is I want to set that $sign right there to nothing because I don't want it to show anything. One of the easiest ways to find this is actually to right click, you can hit inspect element, and you can see CP prefix. That's the ID and that's the name. 99% of the time that's going to be what it's saved in the database as well. And if we open up SQL Pro, you can see CP prefix is a $sign. So what we're going to do is, see here's our base plugin, and we want to run this code only when the plugin activates. We don't want this code to run all the time, because if the user updates the options later and it's running all the time, it's just going to keep resetting them, and they're not going to like that. So what we need to do is use the register activation hook function. See right here we have it. It's register activation hook, and it takes two parameters. The first one is the location of the main plugin file. If we use _file, that's going to mean this file right here. And then we're calling our function. It's theme twp points activation actions. You can see I've called the function right there. And then what I do inside there is actually make my own action. Do action theme twp cube points extension activation. Now, there's no real reason that we couldn't just throw all big function in here and set all the options we want. But what this action allows me to do is, say we have another plugin that relies on our cube points extension. When we activate it, we can call that action, and then our other plugin can run any code that it needs to run because our cube points extension is around. So now all we're going to do is actually add an action or add a function to that action. You can see here it says update option CP prefix and then a blank. The update option function takes two things: the name of our option in the WordPress database and then the new value we want it to be. And I'm adding that to our theme twp cube points extension activation, and then I'm calling our function, which is theme twp set cube point symbol. That's set cube point symbol. So I'm going to save that. And then I'm going to go back here and activate my plugin. I'm going to refresh that. And activate my plugin. You see here, now we have no $sign in there. Something else I've done for this project specifically, you can see the list of names, admin and Curtis. Cube points also there's a tally of the points that you have been assigned to users, and we know that there's a certain set of users that are never going to show up in the top rated list. Like myself, I'm the developer. I don't ever need to show up in that, or the site admin, or one of the other developers. So that's another thing that I've set programmatically. We have a base level, a base set of names for users that don't need to show up, and we just set that programmatically right off the bat so that we don't have to go back and configure the plugin every time, because that's a pain in the butt. Something else we'll do, or I have done, is 0. So by default, I think it's these set points, 5 points for a comment, 10 points, 20 points even for registering. We don't want any of that. So what I've done as well is updated options for all of these to remove all the point values for anything. The only way in our scenario that a user is going to get points is if the admin actually clicks on their comment and assigns them points. That's it. Well, that's it for WP Theme tutorial episode 18. I hope you understand now why we can use activation hooks, and hopefully you can automate your plugin configuration and your client work now, so that you don't have to do all the manual work yourself and possibly even mess things up. Have a great day.